All right, welcome to this video. My name is Taylor Benchwood. We're going to talk about the easiest way to scale your agency in the next 5 years. Okay, the fastest and easiest way to scale it. Not in the next 30 to 60 days, but in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay, so it's a very different video because if you want to learn how to scale as fast as possible in the next 30 to 60 days, go back and watch a video I made about the best lead gen system for any agency. It's about Trojan Horse Marketing. It's a phenomenal lead gen system. But if you want to learn about how to really scale your agency to the furthest it can possibly go, as easy and as fast as possible, it's a longer term view. Okay, it's not going to be in the next 30 to 60 days. It's going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. And so there's a few ingredients we're going to talk about: machine, culture, and people. These are the 3 ingredients that, if focused on every day for the next 3 years, 5 years, you're going to see the easiest and the fastest way to growing your agency, the furthest it can possibly grow. Now this covers a lot, so I'm going to go a little bit more in depth in it. Before we go more in depth on basically this diagram and this analogy here and this one here, I want to talk about how I came to this conclusion about what I'm going to tell you and why I truly believe that it's the fastest way to grow your agency. I say consulted, but I just read a few different books by a few different self-made billionaires. Charlie Almanac, Poor Charlie's Almanac was one of them. Principles by Ray Dalio. If you're familiar with Bridgewater Associates, it's the most successful hedge fund in the entire world. They've made their clients more money over the last 40 years than any other hedge fund on earth. So when you talk about a self-made billionaire and a guy who's built a company full of brilliant people with a good culture that has a great machine that consistently produces profit for his clients for the last 40 years, he's probably the best person to learn from in terms of building a successful business, because literally the most successful hedge fund in the world. And that's a very, very hard business to master, the stock market and making money because you're betting against the consensus of the common people, all that, etc. So I was reading these books, and then I had this realization that our account executive that we hired about a year and 4 months ago, she started learning about lead gen and signing her own clients about 6 months ago, maybe 7 months ago. I think it was around 6. And in the last 4 months, she signed $13,800 worth of monthly recurring revenue. Okay, so that's, I think, about 5 or 6 clients she has signed that results in about $13,800 worth of monthly recurring revenue that she has produced herself. I had no effort in that whatsoever. I just spent about 30 minutes a week with her, and she has been able to sign that many clients. And the setup fees were worth about $8,500. So the annual recurring revenue is around $174,000 if you add the setup fees. So it's a little bit less, like $168,000. And so it's around $200,000 that she's going to be bringing in, from her own independent efforts. That really is very simple what she's been doing. She's just been posting content on a daily basis, 2 to 3 times a week. And my input in helping her to achieve this was like 30 minutes a week. It really wasn't much. I was just getting on the phone with her saying, hey, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. She was putting in the work. Now she's got the results. Now she probably believes in the work a lot more because she's got the results. And this made me realize that, holy crap, I was spending 30 minutes a week, and this produced an extra $200,000 per year for the agency from just literally 30 minutes a week. Now, what are the elements that come to play when you want to achieve this? First of all, you need to have a good, innovative, driven, independent thinker that comes into your organization to work with you. Okay, so she is that, right? She's a good, driven, independent thinker with a lot of energy, and she's smart, and she takes action, okay, and that is her. So that's one element that is really important in order to achieve something like this. The second element is that you need to have a good agency framework and good systems in your agency in order for this to even be possible for an account executive to achieve, okay? So we have a really good thing. We call it a digital brain. It explains every employee in our company how to get a client from their current situation to their desired situation. And because it's so well built, everybody in the company understands how to get the client results, and there's no confusion. And so we have a really good agency framework. This is almost like a pot full of rich soil that this account executive can come into. They don't need to build anything crazy. They can kind of just adapt to that system and then use some basic lead gen systems to be able to sign their own clients. So you need a good agency framework. You need a brilliant, not brilliant, but just like a driven and innovative independent thinker. And then you need yourself to be a leader that can basically provide nutrients on a weekly or daily basis for this new account executive. You need to be helping them. Like my input was 30 minutes to an hour per week, and I was guiding Destiny, our account executive, through the process of lead gen, signing her own client, how to do the pricing, how to do the contract, how to do sales on the phone, and I kind of just guided her and gave her the materials she needed to be able to get the skills she needed to do something like this, and now she's done it, okay? But my input was very small. It didn't take a lot of work. All I really did was I found her, she was great. I put her into this rich pot of soil, which is our agency framework, which was very well built. She understood and learned the agency framework, and I was watering her on a weekly basis, telling her, you know, hey, this is what you should do. If she had questions or problems, I said, that's what you need to do. If she was struggling with something, I would help her to understand why or whatever. And I was just, you know, talking to her on a weekly basis, just basically watering her as a seed in our agency framework, in our rich pot of soil, okay? And over time, it developed into her blossoming into an independent thinker that has now signed almost $200,000 worth of clients per year, or $200,000 worth of annual recurring revenue from her own independent lead gen systems that she's been using. And she also gets a commission on these clients, which is why there's incentive for her to actually do it, okay? But these are the elements. There's me, there's her, there's an agency framework, and those are three really important elements. And then the last one is culture. And this is someone I've been thinking about a lot. I didn't really have much of a really good culture in place when I brought her on board. It was more so just agency framework, her as a seed being dropped into that pot, and then me, leadership, trying to like water her and help her blossom and grow as fast as possible to realize her full potential, okay? But culture is also very important, because the culture is kind of like, you know, what is the mission that everybody in this company is trying to achieve? What is the vision that you have of the future, that if you achieve this mission, this is kind of how the world will look? And then what is the principles that you live by, that you think about on a daily basis, not only in your agency when you're working, but in your personal life when you're making decisions and when you're talking to people or whatever. So missions, principles, and vision are the three things, three elements of a good culture, which we'll get into more in depth later in this video. But the point is that you have these elements, okay? And really, this is a much better longer-term play than me focusing all my energy on trying to build a really good lead gen system, or really good Facebook ads, or a really good like account-based marketing lead gen system. You know, I used to think for a long time that what's better than me spending all my time on finding good people, building a good culture, improving the agency framework and the machine, being a better leader. I used to think, that's not super important. What's gonna get me the most results as soon as possible is actually just building a really good lead gen system that's gonna allow me to sign clients as fast as possible, which is true in the short term. That will bring the most results. But what happens was I spent all my time signing clients, then I signed a lot of clients, and I didn't have people to manage those clients. And I didn't really have a good machine that those people could use to get good results for those clients. So it turned into a lot of chaos. And instead, by focusing on just building a good framework first, and then bringing good people into that framework, and then also developing a culture, like a mission and a vision and some principles that you use on a daily basis, and focusing your energy on just these three things, it produces insane results like this, where you have somebody who in 6 months had never signed their own client, never knew how they could sign their own client, and with just me telling them and guiding them and showing them how to do it 30 minutes a week, hour a week, giving them the resources they need, the books that they should be reading, the programs that they should be going through, they have been able to produce nearly an extra $200,000 per year for the agency independently on their own, okay? So if you focus your energy on finding great people like this, okay, building a really good agency framework that these great people can go into and almost become independent thinkers and blossom with your help on leadership, and they have a really good culture, almost like a good environment that optimizes their ability to grow as fast as possible, this is what's going to get you the greatest results 5 years from now. Now, I might sound crazy saying this like to some people, because it's difficult to see how this is the best thing to do if you've never hired anybody, if you've never thought about culture, if you've never read any books that talked about culture. if you really want to learn the most about this and just solidify this and prove this to your mind, I would read Principles by Ray Dalio. Again, Bridgewater Associates, the most successful hedge fund in the entire world. They've made more money for their clients than any other company, any other hedge fund in the entire world. And that is a very hard business to be good at. And he has focused all his time and energy on people, culture, and machine. That's it. These three things, okay? And I like to consider machine kind of more or less like your agency framework. Okay, there is lead gen systems are incorporated into this right here, but what's almost more important than the machine, in my opinion, is actually people and culture. Because if you have the right people and the right culture, those people can actually build the machine, and you don't really need to be good at building the machine. But if you can find the right people and the right culture, you can have the machine built. Henry Ford was somewhat of the first person to do this. He found the right people that allowed him to build the machine. And so but if you can start out building the machine where you're more analytical, you're more logical, and you first build the machine, just don't get stuck in the machine for years like I did. I did that where I was just lost in the machine, tweaking the machine, making the framework better, trying to build new lead gen systems for the machine. And I never considered people or culture unless my machine was breaking and it was like I couldn't handle more clients. Then I was like, okay, I'll hire somebody. But I never considered people and culture being something that could contribute to the machine in such a large way with such minimal input, okay? So this is a very crazy positive asymmetrical relationship that you have here, because it's 30 minutes a week to an hour a week, which produced an extra $200,000 per year. You know what I mean? It's a massive tipped scale of an asymmetrical relationship where the input is super small and the output is extremely large. And it took time, right? Like it's taken her about 6 months or 7 months total from the moment when she started learning about lead gen and all that. But the results are pretty great, considering it's only been like 6 or 7 months since she started. So it's definitely a longer term play, but if you enjoyed this video, let me know your thoughts. I recommend you check out Principles by Ray Dalio, one of the best books I've ever read on business and life in general. And if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button below, because I post a video once a week. Lately, I've been making stuff that is more complex, more in depth, and this is what I've been thinking about the most. Also, in our agency, we are hiring right now for an account executive. So if you want to join a company where you can be an independent thinker, an innovative person, somebody that manages a team, somebody that hires their own team, somebody that gets to sign their own clients, be their own salesman, make a commission on the clients that you sign, and have the ability to make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per month if you put in the work, you can go to betterams.com/hiring, and you'll be able to apply for that job. It's a phenomenal position. The girl who has signed almost $200,000 worth of clients in the last annual recurring revenue in the last 4 months, this is her position, right? Account executive. And so pretty much we're looking for another person just like her who can come into our agency framework and blossom and become the best version of themselves, and also have good leadership to help them, become their higher self and become the best possible version of themselves that they can be, and contribute to helping raise the consciousness of humanity. So that is the link, betterams.com/hiring. Thanks for watching this video. Hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this. Ciao.